28-21, Chiefs fall to the Buffalo Bills in yet another regular season game in which these two teams line up, and the Chiefs are on the short end of the stick yet again. What's up, everybody? Kent Swanson and Maddie Lane here, lamenting the Chiefs falling to 5-4 and losing to the Buffalo Bills in Orchard Park, 28-21. Maddie, how we doing today?
I don't even know. I don't know how that game was close. I thought the Chiefs played a terrible football game. I said it multiple times. I was like, hey, I don't know how this game's close. I thought the Bills were a significantly better team in this one. And that was very surprising to me coming in because the Bills looked very good pretty much all year, but they clearly were the better team in this one. I think they outplayed, outcoached, out-executed the Chiefs all along the way, and somehow the Chiefs did have a chance to tie the game or potentially tie the game late with a Hail Mary that obviously fell short on kind of back-to-back plays. So not the best not the best of nights as a Chiefs fan when you came in flying high, making a case that you have the best team in the NFL, and to be quite easily outplayed, I thought was a pretty big gut punch from that perspective.
Yeah, they were absolutely outclassed in every way, shape, or form. Offensively, defensively, coaching was awful. This is the worst coaching performance from Andy Reid this season, and I don't know since when. I am extremely irritated about the decisions in this game. The illogical nature of the decision-making process for this game, I'm sure. I mean, going 4th and 17 and deciding to go for it, but being too cowardly to let the best player on the planet try to create on the goal line on 4th down. By the way, the Chiefs only would have needed a field goal in that situation at the end of the game if they maybe had gone for it on 4th down. But I digress.
Shouldn't have got to that point. That red zone series was terrible from the get-go. I mean, I think it's easy to look past the red zone series there in the half, but you don't come out with that much time left and only the ability to stop the clock one time and run the ball on 1st down. That limits your ability to make the Bills play the run and the pass more than one time. The only down they had to play the run and the pass was 1st down because you ran it on 1st down. You never run on 1st down. If you're going to run, it's going to be on 2nd down. That way you at least force the Bills to play the run and the pass back-to-back plays. And then to come out, run on 1st down, have to use your last time out. 2nd down, you come out and run a designer play, essentially corn dog yet again, which fine, the play works, but to run that against a team that has prepared the most outside of the AFC West against you, surprisingly, they were not gotten by that play. They very much were aware of what was happening, and you now have Rashee Rice isolated on the backside of that play, not involved whatsoever. Your best player up to that point in the game wasn't involved whatsoever in the play. Then you come back on 3rd down, go 3-by-1 with Rashee Rice once again isolated backside that you don't even look. It's just the whole concept of what they did before halftime in that low red spot was terrible. That was enough by itself that they should have lost the game based on how they handled that.
Disaster sequences. That game in the first half was the first half really lost this team the game. I mean, the decision making in the first half was brutal, and the Chiefs did not have enough to make up for it. And you could see like the 3rd and 3, 4th and 3 play calling series from Andy Reid. When Kareem Hunt is running it down their throats, and just awful play calling and decision making there. At least run the ball. You haven't had a negative run when was the last time they had a negative run play with Kareem Hunt? You're sitting 4th and 1 at worst on 3rd and 3 if you run the football. So you have that series that ends in 0 points. And then kicking the worst play in football is a 19-yard field goal. And the Chiefs achieved it. And by the way, that's momentum. I don't know what it literally cost the Chiefs negative 7.5 win percentage not going for a touchdown there. The entire city of Buffalo was grateful, was enthralled, was so pleased that Andy Reid decided to kick the field goal on the 1 foot yard line. 1 foot line, sorry.
So okay, I analytically speaking, there's nothing I can do to sway you, and I'm actually surprised it's that high on the win percentage because the way I looked at it, the Chiefs were going to get the ball back after halftime. So kicking the field goal there, I mean, like technically they're before the Bills have a chance to score again, the Chiefs are still giving themselves a chance to take the lead, right? Versus if they go for it, like, yeah, there's obviously a touchdown's better than a field goal in that moment. But if they go for it and get stuffed, you have no chance to take the lead before Buffalo gets the ball back. Or, you know what I mean? So I theoretically can understand that process of, hey, we've been really good out of halftime. We expect to go down and score out of halftime. Let's just put points on the board so we can go take the lead. Like, I can buy the general logic there. I think it was pretty clear even to that point, though, that the Chiefs didn't have just like the same juice the Bills did. They were not playing. They weren't executing. They weren't coaching a good enough game that at that point you probably should have gone after the points a little bit more. But like, I can at least see the concept behind taking the opportunity or the ability to get the lead with the ball.
I'm not gonna be swayed.
That's
I'm not gonna be swayed out of that one. I think it was terrible process, especially in a game like this. And it was just yet another. I think those two series I think cost the Chiefs. Maybe didn't cost them entirely, but it put a damper on their ability to win this football game. The Chiefs were dominated. You're right. I don't know how it was close. I don't know how this was literally. Yeah. The funny thing is the Chiefs had 26 seconds left, which is, like I saw Charles Goldman say, this is twice as much as 13 seconds, which would have been just hilarious if they went and did something with it. And I thought they were about to.
Thornton was close in the second to last play. But here's the thing, and here's the microcosm of the entire thing, right? They couldn't even block with an extra player in. They couldn't even block to throw a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Like the final play, Mahomes had to run backwards, and it wasn't even like he had to run backwards just to get space to throw it. He literally ran backwards and still had to throw it off his back foot fading away because they legitimately all game long, but especially in the second half, once you started having a couple injuries pile up, they could not block the Buffalo Bills pass rush, which isn't a great sign because the Bills don't have a particularly good pass rush. It's been better this year, but it hasn't been great. And so their inability to, I think, provide any kind of protection, like even on that final Hail Mary, which is so obvious. It's a Hail Mary, and you couldn't even give your quarterback enough time to run backwards 15 yards and set his feet to throw. I'm not asking for a lot of time. He literally couldn't sprint away from the pass rushers, turn and set his feet to throw the ball before he was under pressure. I said offensive line play was pretty terrible all game, and I'm sure that plays a huge role into everything that happened. But yeah, I was surprised anytime in the second half I looked up and this game was a one-score game or close to, because it really did feel like the Bills were playing significantly better than the Chiefs, start to finish.
At least the Bills' best defensive lineman played this week. Oh, wait, Ed Oliver wasn't there. I will say Joey Bosa looked like the best defensive lineman for the Bills this week. And I mean, he played outstanding. That's exactly why Joey Bosa's here in Buffalo. That's why they went out and signed him, is for moments like that to destroy Jalen Moore, the Chiefs' backup left tackle. There was one play in this game where the Chiefs had 3 backup offensive linemen. That's not the reason that this team lost. Don't get me wrong. I just thought it was just kind of funny. Like, that offensive line depth is already getting tested again. And in a neutral game script, the offensive line in a non-neutral game script, the offensive line was awful. When it was a 2-score game, the Chiefs could not block. When it was a pass-heavy script, when it was obvious passing downs, the Chiefs could not pass protect to save their life. Either tackle. Jawan Taylor had the worst performance of his season in Kansas City before he got hurt, and we'll find out more about that issue. And then Jalen Moore looked awful today as well. He was getting beat like a drum. Both tackles were just getting absolutely caved in on, and it was an awful performance. And like there's no game plan for can't block. We've said this before. There's really no great game plan for can't block. And we saw that again. So many things about this game frustrating. And I can see all the comments in this one too. I will say, I do think the bye week has come at the best time for this team because they badly need to heal up with this offensive line, give them all the time. I mean, Trey Smith was gutting it out too. Because he's been playing through injury too. So, man, just disheartening, frustrating, annoying, irritating, and just no one in Kansas. They didn't put their best effort forth. Just they flat out. Coach and staff was awful today. Terrible. Put them in a terrible situation in a big game that has essentially killed the 1 seed from them entirely and put them in a really bad spot for the division too, by the way. Things are not going great right now. This was a massive game that this team blew and embarrassed in an embarrassing fashion. Just a terrible performance.
I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I think as the game went on, I guess because I had these same thoughts at halftime, I've had like the last, hour and a half to really settle in. Yeah, it was an embarrassing performance, I think, by the Chiefs, but they were able to claw their way back into it. So the final scoreboard's not going to look so bad. You're going to watch the game back and you're going to say, hey, they had a chance and they played poorly. So I'm sure plenty of people are going to spin this, right? To, oh, look, the Chiefs played a terrible game and still almost won, which I mean, somehow is true. If I'm watching this game and I'm trying to go back and figure out what the Chiefs were doing well in this game that worked against the Bills, I don't have a lot. The running game looked well.
They were running the ball well.
Oh, now look who's come full circle now, Kent. I thought they ran the ball well, but their defense couldn't buy a stop. And here's the thing. How long are you going to lean on the run game when you can't get a stop for a while, right? Like it felt like the Chiefs defense was holding on for dear life anytime they did get a stop. The Bills offense was going to put up points. So if you're Andy Reid, how often are you really going to rely on 7 yards, 6 yards at a time because you can't get explosives? I understand how they phased out of the run game. I'm just saying, watching this game, there wasn't a lot to take away and be like, that's good. That'll come back around, which kind of leads me to my next point, though. And I hate this as a concept. I hate the saving it for the playoffs, not trying to show them anything. I hate that kind of conversation because I think every team wants to win every single game. Do I think there are times where Andy would rather not call certain stuff or would rather try to do something a little bit different? Sure, but I don't think they are ever purposefully saving stuff for the future, especially when you're 5-3. Getting ready to go 5-4. You're about to play 2 other teams ahead of you in the standings in the AFC. Are you going to choose not to show them stuff either? So I hate the concept of they're not trying to show them anything. But when is the last Chiefs offensive game you remember seeing without, more than 1 or 2 RPOs? Did they run any in this game? I don't remember seeing hardly any of them. If they were, it must have been in the plays to start. No RPOs. Where was any crossers? Did we see anybody besides the 4th down to Rashee Rice, which it still wasn't a true crosser? He ran like a deep comeback to space and then ran across the field after Mahomes was scrambling. Like, where were all the crossers? Where was anything horizontally? All they were doing was running vertical plane routes, not deep, just vertical plane routes to spots and turning around and trying to check up. And I understand, like, that's how you can attack zone. The Chiefs are pretty good at that, but it wasn't working in this game. Cole Bishop, one of the worst safeties in the NFL, was having the game of his life. He turned into Ed Reed for this game, and he was peeling off of every assignment he possibly could and breaking on balls and guys that weren't even like his designed player to guard. So I don't know. I can't remember the last time I saw a Chiefs offense function this way. I think the coaching job was terrible, but even when they're terrible, what do we usually complain about? Too much RPOs, too much short passing, too much horizontal, cute stuff. It wasn't that. Just the way they went about trying to attack this Buffalo Bills defense was entirely different than what Andy Reid ever does in terms of the pass game. So I can't square that in my mind why they went that direction in this particular game, if not for not wanting them to play their normal offense. Which is weird.
They just don't want the bye, man. They just don't want the bye, I guess. They want to make it harder. They didn't like how it worked last year, and they liked when they won the Super Bowl going through the divisional round and the wild card too. I'm calling all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now and enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. I am very much looking forward to hearing Tucker D. Franklin right after this.
Chiefs Kingdom, what is your favorite touchdown? By now, you guys already know that my favorite touchdown is the next one, because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. From first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. You want spreads? They got it. Over-unders? DraftKings got you covered. Same-game parlays, regular parlays? DraftKings has it, and you need it. And here's the best part. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out $2. you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
28-21, Chiefs fall to the Buffalo Bills. They are 5-4 on the season now. Would not be in the playoffs if the season ended today. Here we are. Tucker D. Franklin has joined the chat. Hi, Tuck. How are we?
I'm all right. Really. I don't think this might surprise you guys. I don't think I was as upset about this game as you guys are. I know that it was a less than desirable performance from the Chiefs. It's a performance that we're going to have to sit on for 2 weeks now and get to talk about for 2 weeks now as they head into the bye week. The bye week is coming at the right time. But I can't help but watch that game. And my biggest takeaway is, yes, I mean, there was some really poor coaching decisions from the Chiefs. But guys, the Buffalo Bills played the best game they've played of all year. I mean, I've watched pretty much every snap from the Buffalo Bills. That was the best game they've played all year. I mean, from start to finish, they had a really good fourth quarter, right, against the Ravens in week 1. And they basically played the best that they've played all year. Maddie mentioned it at the top of the show and kind of towards the beginning, and I think that this is something that kind of stuck with me, is Cole Bishop is not a very good football player. And he played incredibly well today. Like, that's what Maddie said that, and I was like, that was one of the things I had written down on my sheet, is like, when did he become good? And like, their defensive line all year has not been good. And all of a sudden, it was really good today. And so that's one of the things that I am watching this game, and I'm just like, they are playing like this is their Super Bowl. Obviously, clearly. I mean, this is their Super Bowl. This is the regular season game, right? Josh Allen's 5-1 against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season now, so he must be pretty dominant against him every time he plays him, right? I mean, that must be true. If it's just if he's 5-1 in the regular season, he must win every single time that those guys face off. It has to be. That has to be the case. But no, we knew that, like, going on the road, this is the last season of Highmark Stadium. The Bills needed this game a lot to feel a lot better about their team, right? And I'm not saying the Chiefs didn't need it, right? In the Bills' perspective of things is they needed to feel a little bit better about their team. They needed a little bit more juice about their team. Their team came up and played at a really good level. Now, I do think the Chiefs maybe played like a C- game. And like this was still a one-possession game at the end of it. There weren't a ton of penalties on both sides of it, but overall, what really stuck out to me is they had guys on that defensive side of the ball come out and play like they have not played all year. And you can't really game plan for that, right? Like, you can't game plan for Cole Bishop looking like, as Maddie said, Ed Reed. So that's tough when those guys come out and play so much better than they really are. And that's what's kind of a bummer to me. But then I just remember that, like, this is what happens. Like, this is what happens when the Chiefs play the Bills in the regular season. So it's one of those things where I'm trying not to get worked up over it, because I know that this is what happens in the regular season, is that the Chiefs, the Bills will beat them, whatever. And then if they meet in the playoffs again, which actually will be kind of interesting if they do meet in the playoffs, if one or both of them are wildcard teams, then it'd be very hard for them to meet again in the playoffs. Nevertheless, I think that's going to be something to monitor. As you mentioned, the Jags did win. They beat the Raiders in overtime. The Raiders decided to go for 2. They tried to go for the win instead of go for the tie, which, shout out to Pete Carroll, I guess. Got to get the boys motivated somehow.
Wait, aggressive at the goal line? Pete Carroll?
Yeah.
Huh?
Shocker.
Wait, what's that? What
Weird,
is that?
right?
What is that? I
There's a
would
ball
love to know.
Gino got ball deflected. Trey Tucker was wide open. The ball got tipped to the line of scrimmage. It's too bad for the old Raiders. But Jags in the playoffs right now. 4 losses for the Kansas City Chiefs this season. 5-4. Big bummer. Like, that is a big bummer in the grand scheme of things. I know that shocker. That might be a groundbreaking
0
breaking
wins
news here,
when the defense gives up over 20 points.
That's not great. That's not great when the defense and the defense didn't look very good this game either for the Chiefs. So, like,
isn't that much? Like 20 points isn't great, but like 20 points
right.
isn't a lot. So that's pretty rough.
Look, the defense is not like the defense. I know they had a couple shutouts, but like I think it's been like, how are you doing it? And it's probably Steve Spagnuolo, because this team can't rush the passer.
Right.
They have no pass rush. The pass rush does not exist, and it's just and Chris can't take games over the way he used to.
No.
And Chris is not as active involved, and it's just he doesn't affect the game at a high enough clip. He just doesn't. And George is a highly paid complimentary rusher. They don't have any juice. Yeah. Outside of two, there's nothing. And it's the same story, and it's going to be the same story unless in the next 38 hours, I don't know when the trade deadline is. Math on
November the 4th.
43 hours.
Mm-hmm.
They have 43 hours to improve the defensive line. And I don't know if there's really going to be anybody available to actually do it, like to really make an impact. But this D-line can't do anything. And it's really disheartening. And you're starting to see the chips. You're starting to see the cracks in how the Chiefs have allocated all of their money. You're starting to see it this year. And it was very apparent today with the lack of juice on the defensive line again. And it mattering this time because they're finally playing a good quarterback and not Marcus Mariota.
That's the other thing. This is like the first real offense they've played in a hot minute. And it showed. And I think, frankly, it showed that this is the first quarterback that they've faced. Geno Smith is so bad, guys. I don't know.
Jared Goff was a real quarterback. Boy, that Lions game's doing a lot of work for the Chiefs, not looking like one of the most fraudulent teams in the NFL. Let me tell you what, without that Lions win, like there's not a whole lot to hang your hat on. I mean, from the Chiefs' perspective. So, like, I get the concept of like, yeah, the flaws are still the same. That team was terrible at the time. They've looked better since, but that team was terrible at the time.
I know. No,
that's what I'm saying though. Like without the Lions game, like you're looking a lot at the Chiefs have beat only bad teams, especially the way they were playing at the time. And so, go ahead.
I'm sorry. It's funny. The Chiefs have 5 wins, and all of them are by 2 scores. All of them.
They're 0-4 in 1-score games, buddy. This wasn't spiritually a 1-score game. I understand that Chiefs actually had a chance to tie it, but this was not spiritually a 1-score game. Like this is
an unethical 1-score game.
Watching this game without looking at a score bug, I would have assumed the Chiefs are down double digits the entire second half. It just didn't. All their plays, all their scoring drives involve some kind of ridiculous, just like long play, which the Bills defense gives those up. That's part of why I thought the Chiefs would have success in this game was the Bills defense is really bad about giving up explosive plays. The Chiefs just had nothing in between. They had nothing short. They could not keep the chains moving. They could not keep pressure on the Bills defense. So I don't know. I think all the flaws we've seen in spurts once again showed up again. And it doesn't make me feel good to say, yeah, that's okay. Cause the Bills are the first good team they've played in a while. So all the flaws matter. Like that's a problem. And it's a problem if your flaws show up against good teams and you can't overcome them. Now, getting Josh Simmons back, I think we maybe have gotten to the end of the Jalen Moore thing. Maybe Matt Nagy should say when Josh Simmons comes back, if he comes back, he's the starter because he's clearly better than Jalen Moore. And maybe we've done enough of that. Not having a healthier Juwan Taylor. I know he was sick coming into this game. He also gets hurt in it. Neither guy played great. Maybe getting a healthier offensive line again helps some of the offensive line woes. And then you get back and it looks a little bit better again, like it had in the middle part of the season. It's just, I don't know. This game definitely leaves a sour taste. And then now you kind of have to sit on it for 2 weeks now because they're going into bye. And then when you come out of the bye week, you're playing teams that are as good as Buffalo. It's not like it gets easier once you come out of the bye week. So their schedule isn't about to lighten up. That's why I don't think I can brush this one off as, it's no big deal. They'll just go ahead and get into the playoffs. Like there's 2 very difficult games coming up right on the other side of this. I said just can't quite, I think, take a loss as in stride as I think some fans want to.
Well, here's the only reason that I have that is because I think the Chiefs just simply had a bad day. Like, I don't think that there's any like wholesale really bad things going on. Like you mentioned it, Josh Simmons comes back. The pass rush is bad, right? That's a given. But I think that I think that like Josh Simmons comes back. There's a little bit more with the deep ball there. They had some things working for them on the offensive side of the ball. The defense pass rush is the big thing, right? They even run the ball well too. Clyde Edwards-Helaire got a carry. That was kind of weird, right? We all agreed that was weird that he got a carry. Yeah, that he got two carries.
He's wearing number 26.
Yeah, but he's 40 on the practice squad, though, and they're like, actually, never mind. We're not going to let you wear that number, which is actually probably smart of them. Don't wear that number.
I think Elijah Mitchell wore 26 in San Francisco. No,
I think that technically Elijah Mitchell is 25, even though I don't think he actually has a jersey, and that's why he's inactive all the time. That's my conspiracy theory, is that they keep forgetting his jersey, so they have to make him inactive, because there's also no other reason that they would make him inactive all the time. That makes sense. But I do think Josh Simmons coming back, I think that there were some things on offense that worked, right? I don't think there was some stuff that didn't work, and I think there were some kind of one-off things that the Bills defense playing really well, the Bills pass rush playing out of their mind better than normal. But I wholesale, I'm not worried about it. I think they just played. I think they had a bad day, and I think they played a bad game. Is what I think happened today, and I think the Bills played the best that they have all season.
I'm just gonna post this because I think it was funny. Someone just said you got. Oh, sorry, wrong one.
You were connecting to Mitchell in the lab, though. Don't forget.
I was. You got to cut CJ Hansen. Someone said, I'm like, I don't know why CJ Hansen needs to catch a stray. Who is he? Broderick Martin? Like, what are we doing here?
So I think people are generally very upset with Mike Caliendo. So the fact that Caliendo comes in, I think reminds people that Hansen isn't better than him in their minds. So Hansen catches like strays for Mike Caliendo catching real heat from people.
But like, I don't think Caliendo's been bad when he's been in. I don't think he's been fine. He's been totally
he got his chest run through once or twice versus Washington.
He's
and
like league replacement level. It's like he is just like the exactly average. Yeah.
Hey, it is.
He's a
I mean, the Chiefs
backup guard.
Yeah, the Chiefs offensive line depth got tested today, and it's been worse to have. I think other versions of this team with 3 offensive linemen missing would be significantly worse than what you saw today. It's just it just came to it. Tucker, like, I know you're talking about this game and it's fine and no. And I get it. I get it.
That was the sassiest no I have ever heard.
I didn't mean for it to be that sassy.
He said, yeah, Tucker's like, yeah, it's okay and some shit, but like, you're wrong.
Right.
No, awesome. I think the flip side of it is, I think this is where like some of the frustration comes. Is like, you're right. Like the Chiefs had a bad day. And you're right. They probably played a C- game. I agree with you. I think the problem is that they've had 4 bad days this year. They've had 4 terrible, horrible, no good, very bad days in 9 games.
Well,
and they they cannot afford to have any more bad days. They can't. They cannot afford. The margin for error is so gone with this team. It's not even funny. And like Denver, Indy, Dallas, Houston, LA again, Tennessee, Denver, Vegas.
No.
That is...
There's some sneaks in there.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, man, that is... I think they'll pull it off, but like the reality is starting to hit a little bit. Like, for some reason, the AFC's hot or top heavy or something, and there's enough teams that are making this interesting right now. I mean, like, the 5-4 is bad. 5-4 is not good. 5-4 is not a good record. Like, that is bad. That's actively bad. Yeah. So I think it's just yet another bad game when this team badly needed to take care of business today and at least put a good effort out there. That's the frustration, is they needed this game. They need every game. And now they got to go into Mile High in 2 weeks and play the Denver Broncos in a game that decides their divisional fate.
Which they came back again today, and that was, I mean, calling that a comeback was a little bit crazy. I know it was 8 points, but like a bonus, I can't, like, you know, you watch the Chiefs and you see them do things, right? And you're like, oh, okay, that looks like a team that is competent and can put plays together. You don't think that when you watch the Broncos. You're thinking about, how does this team have the record that they do? And a lot of the times that's what we were saying about the Chiefs last year, right? But like this is a Broncos team that is very confounding and very confusing. Tennessee was in a rock fight with the Chargers for a little bit. But you're right, Ken. They have deleted all the margin of error. I believe I saw Robert Remsen tweet this out, that Chiefs have to win out. The Chargers have to obviously lose to the Chiefs in that game and then take another loss for them to win the division. Like that will help them be in the position to be in the division. Obviously, they're going to have to beat the Broncos.
That
includes beating the Broncos twice, right? If the Chiefs win out, they beat the Broncos twice.
I think the Chargers. The Chargers they're non-factor.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm not worried about it. I can't believe the thing is like I don't think that any of these teams that are ahead of them are like I don't think a ton of these teams or any of these teams are particularly good, but their record is what the record is, and the Chiefs have not been able to withstand the divisional winners schedule this year. They just have not done a good job of withstanding that so far, and they've dropped some games that they shouldn't, and they've made some. They've lost some bad losses, man. I mean, that Jags game's gonna haunt. I think that Jags game's gonna haunt, and it haunts you now that they put a C- performance against the Buffalo Bills together too. So
no one's blaming the schedule, Jackie. By the way, we're just saying the schedule's tough. There's no blaming the schedule. No, we're just talking about the upcoming slate.
The Chiefs are supposed to win football games, and they're not.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm saying that the schedule is the problem because it's giving the Chiefs, you're getting the Chiefs versus playoff teams, and they're not looking good in the games versus playoff teams. Again, outside the Lions game, which is doing a lot of work, they've looked not good versus all the other teams they've played there in the playoffs. The thing was, when the Chiefs started to turn it around, they had this like lull of teams that weren't very good that they went up against, and they looked great. And we all started flying real high. Everyone's saying, hey, Chiefs might be the best team in power ranking wise, and nobody wants to play them. Then they come into this game and look pretty dreadful for a lot of it, right? Like they just look pretty bad. And like that to me does show up. And especially because it wasn't in new ways. It was a lot of the same ways that we've seen all year where it popped up. So it's a tough game. I think I'm like there with Tucker. They just had a bad day. I think the Chiefs played a poor football game. They executed poorly. I thought the coaching was poorly. I talked about my biggest thing with the coaching was just, I don't understand Andy's game plan to beat the Bills because anytime they have success versus the Bills, what is it? It's 800 RPOs. It's quick passing. It's getting the ball over the middle of the field. And they barely tried that in this game. And so like, I just don't get that thought process coming into this. But at the end of the day, like, this is once again another game versus a good team they didn't perform well in. The same stuff. The lack of pass rush has showed up numerous times. Their offensive line, I give a minor pass because, again, they're missing their starting left tackle. I thought Jalen Moore was the biggest weakness to start the game. Obviously, Jawan Taylor didn't have a great game either. And by the end of it, you have Wanya Morris in there, and they just couldn't pass protect at all. But I do think you're seeing the lack of trust in Mahomes in this offensive line. And I'm not trying to single out a single player, but again, it's been pretty stark. Since Jalen Moore has come in, they have not wanted to drop back near as far. There was a 3rd and 9 player, 3rd and double digits play where they had 2 receivers at the line of scrimmage. They didn't even put them like they had the chip, and they didn't even go out on routes because they don't feel comfortable dropping deep with Jalen Moore in there right now. And at that time, Jawan Taylor wasn't playing good. It's just, they have problems along the offensive line when Joshua Simmons isn't there. They have problems on the defensive side of the ball in the trenches because they can't get a pass rush. And then when Spags is the whole bailout call, that's great until you play Josh Allen, who seems to have one of the better reads on Steve Spagnuolo in the entire NFL. He's played him enough. He knows when Spags is bringing pressure most of the time. He has a really good answer most of the time. So now when you have Spags, it is kind of pulling this defense that does have holes and does have gaps that can be exploited to being a solid defense, and you go up against one of the few quarterbacks who has all the right answers, it can look pretty bad. And it did. And so, yeah, I don't know. Bad game. They got outplayed, and now you go into a bye week and you got to come out and you got to win some games. The last thing I want to say here, then you guys can take it wherever you want. You know what really the one that really pissed me off about this game, there was a stretch in the second half where Mahomes got hit 9 times and, over 2 drives. Every single hit was a player landing on him. I don't care about a flag. I'm not asking for a flag. Where was a single Chiefs player getting pissed off how hard some of the Bills players were hitting him? Literally numerous times, not a single time did the Chiefs offensive lineman run over there and talk a little smack, pull them off of them. Like, it didn't seem to fire them up whatsoever. That Mahomes was getting drilled. And like some of them were probably borderline body weight plays. And I hate the rule. I don't care about not getting a flag. I'm just saying when the Bills were making an effort to land their weight and hit Mahomes hard, why did not a single Chiefs player get fired up about that? That was really annoying to watch for the entire second half.
And that is also a good point. I do want to make sure sorry we haven't talked about this for the first 35 minutes of the show. I really do hope Josh Allen is okay after that gruesome hit to the head that he took in the second half. I'm sorry, I forgot that.
Him. Yeah.
I hope he's okay. Because that was
you better keep the same energy for Mahomes' flop on the sideline, then, buddy.
That was
he had just as bad of a flop on the sideline.
Oh, it's not as
no,
bad.
He didn't.
It was not as
no,
bad.
he didn't. Stop it.
You cannot call
Stop
it as
it.
bad. Do I think that he played into it a little bit? Yes. I don't think it's as bad as Josh Allen getting touched in the head and him throwing his head fully back.
I'm going to fight Maddie, and we're going to take a break, and then we'll come back, and maybe we'll be in a better shape after this.
Equally terrible.
That's equally doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Just a short drive from Kansas City. Experience the history, the heritage, and the bourbon at Holiday Distillery. Tour Missouri's oldest distillery, where real Missouri bourbon is made the old-fashioned way. Walk the grounds, taste the tradition, and take home a bottle of something special. Make the trip, sip the story. Holiday Distillery, Weston, Missouri. Book your tour at holidaydistillery.com.
I'm Brett Goodwin, one of the owners of The Learning Tree. The Learning Tree is a neighborhood toy store in Prairie Village, Kansas. This has been here in this location since 2000s, and my husband Alan and I purchased the store in 2023. Alan and I grew up in families where we've always wanted to have a business together. Alan grew up, for instance, his parents had a jewelry store. I worked in a local toy store here in Prairie Village when I was growing up. When this opportunity happened in 2023, we knew right away we wanted to contact them and pursue the store. We wouldn't have been able to get the store without the team at Emprise Bank. From the day we contacted them, they knew what we needed to do, which was very helpful. I would absolutely recommend the team at Emprise Bank to anyone looking to secure a business. We worked with Emprise from day one. They were extremely helpful. They were always great resources. We talk to them frequently. They know the area. They're very friendly. We know who we're going to talk with, and they know what we need to do. We hope we'll see you at the Learning Tree.
Chiefs fall 28-21 to the Buffalo Bills. Some futures coming in here from our partner at DraftKings. Do you know who now the new favorite is to win the AFC?
To win?
Colts?
To go to the Super Bowl?
To win the AFC.
Is it the Chiefs still?
It's still the Chiefs.
Is it? That's wild.
Do you know who the
Well, who did you put over them? Truthfully,
the Bills and Chiefs are both even odds, or both tied.
Okay,
same odds.
We're getting real goofy with it, but I mean, like the Pats, much clearer path to have one seed. The Chiefs aren't even a lock to make the playoffs right now. Like if you're playing odds here coming out of this, like
they're both though. It's the Bills and the Chiefs are both tied for to win the conference, and then the Super Bowl favorites are still the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills, both tied at plus 600.
I didn't think this game would make it sway a ton. To be fair, and like
it's
I
wild.
don't want to do the whole
5-4 in the playoffs.
I don't want to do the coping.
Like the Bills have one of the hardest schedules in football. The rest of the year, they have one of the hardest schedules in football.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's just wild. It's just wild to think about. And it doesn't make me feel any better. By the way, not even a little bit. Maddie, I know you had some Xavier Worthy thoughts. So what were those?
Worthy. Yeah. Listen, I know Xavier Worthy's playing with a bum shoulder. I know he's had an ankle injury on the report numerous times. And I even said earlier that I think the ankle was slowing him down a little bit because there was times earlier in the year he didn't look as fast as he did the year prior. I think the last couple of weeks when he's gotten to really put his foot on the ground and go, he's looked faster again. So I'm going to take the ankle injury off of this. Now, I don't know if it's impacting what's going on. But buddy, you got to show me something here. There's just something missing on some of these routes downfield. And like, it's not even, I understand that like the final interception, which I want to talk about too, was really bad. There was a couple other plays where I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I just have general frustrations with Xavier where it has not taken any steps forward this year. And I do want to give some grace because again, he's dealing with a significant shoulder injury. I know he had an ankle injury too, but they just don't seem to have a good plan for how to use him. I think the whole point was like, oh, we can use this guy kind of like Tyreek Hill and get some of those impact. We haven't seen it this year. It just doesn't seem to be the same. Oh, we can use him as a deep threat. Tyquan Thornton's been a better deep threat. We can use him as a gadget guy. And like, yeah, he's as good as a gadget guy, but it's still just not, I don't know, just something's missing. His impact is not felt. His speed is not felt. This is numerous games now where I haven't even seen him get jammed at the line of scrimmage, where a corner has been able to run stride for stride with him downfield until they start hand fighting, and then he just can't get free. It's just something is missing, and I can't quite put my finger on it yet, but it's a little frustrating to not see a step forward at all from him this year, both in how he's playing, but also his usage.
Tuck, I know he has some stuff too.
Yeah, he can't track a ball. He can't track a deep ball, and that is what is actually. He's got me so flustered I can't put words together. This is not a new thing with Xavier Worthy. We talked about him being a deep threat, and Maddie talked about it too. There's clearly Tyquan Thornton's a better deep threat because he can actually see a football when he's running. That should not have been an interception from Patrick Mahomes. I know that he kind of just like let it fly all the way down. There was a bit of an arm punt, but if Xavier Worthy like realizes where the ball is and maybe makes a single move to try to get to the football, that's probably not an interception. That's what was so frustrating to me about that one. I do think that like it was never going to be completed, but it didn't necessarily have to be a interception. But this is not a new thing, right? We saw all last year he didn't know where the sideline was when he was tracking balls down the field. Like his deep ball tracking is less than ideal. Tyquan Thornton is clearly better at him in tracking deep balls because Tyquan Thornton makes adjustments in the air. He'll make adjustments with his route. You don't see that a lot with Xavier Worthy, and I think that's the most frustrating part for me. I know that like they're the gadget stuff, the pop passes, the end around sweeps. Where did all that go? Right, like that. Those were fun things for him to do, get him involved in the offense, and that's all gone. But the most frustrating part is when they try to throw it to him deep.
Maybe the bye week's coming at a good time for Xavier Worthy too.
It's kind of a good time for everybody.
It's like I don't think his ball tracking's great. I just real quick. I don't think his ball tracking is great, but like I saw him play Texas. He had to chase down some Quinn Ewers garbage throws. So like I think he can do it when there's space. The issue for me is it's just when he has to deal with contact, he just can't. There's a lack of another gear there, right? You watch Tyquan Thornton when he's checking a deep ball one, he's already behind defenders. He gets behind defenders better than Xavier Worthy ever has in the NFL. And so like he's not having to track the ball while still hand fighting. It feels like Worthy's late to locate the ball sometimes. Not even looking, but look for it because he can't get by defenders that even touch him with their hands. And I get it. He's 170 pounds, so he's never going to be super strong. But there's a difference between just being able to like still run by. I don't know. His speed does not show up down the field in the way that I thought it would at this point in time. And I think that's really frustrating, but more so, hey, Andy, let's use him on other stuff too. Like, can we not get him involved as a real wide receiver? And maybe that's a Worthy thing.
I think it's a little bit of a Worthy thing because you saw it today again. Like he's drifting upfield on an outbreak and just inviting the defensive back into the play. And so like there are some issues there with Worthy too that he needs to continue to develop. So I think there's a little bit of both. I want to rip through some of these quotes real quick, and then I think you'll know where this is going, Matt. Because I know you said you had some Mahomes thoughts too, but we'll get to the Mahomes thoughts in a second. But we'll start with Andy real quick. Andy Reid says that Jawan Taylor hurt his right ankle and it was the only injury. He said those defensive ends are top notch and they've got 3 or 4 of them that can bring it of the Bills defensive ends. He saw a tip ball as well on the intentional grounding call because it was. Andy Reid on the 4th and 17. Good throw, good catch. He got enough time there where we could put it up there. Well, I'm glad we went for it on 4th and 17 and not from the 1 foot yard, 1 foot line at the end of the first half. That was awesome. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid doesn't sound pleased with how the first half ended or how the second half started. Says it's his responsibility to make sure those outcomes don't happen. You think? Cool. Let's get some Patrick Mahomes quotes. On the Bills defense, they had a really good plan. They had a great plan and great players, and they made a lot of plays today. Says they did a good job of pushing the pocket and constricting his lanes to step up. I agree. Patrick Mahomes on what they can learn going into the bye week. We've had great moments. We've had bad moments. We've got to be more consistent as a team. I've got to be more consistent as a quarterback. It's going to be an uphill battle when we get back, but I think our guys are up to it. That is all from Charles Goldman. Go to Gold MCT NFL if you want to follow his great coverage there. He was on with me on 21 Questions last week too. Friend of KCSN. I know you had some Mahomes thoughts, Maddie.
Yeah. If anybody says Mahomes played bad, just ignore what they have to say because he was so far from the issue in this game. It's unbelievable. I don't think Mahomes played good. There's a difference between good, bad, and then just him playing kind of like himself. I don't think Mahomes played bad. CBS is one of the worst stations to watch a game on. They show so few replays, but the few we do get, no one's open. The Chiefs are just running guys that aren't very good at getting open into spots that are well covered. So he doesn't have anywhere to go with the football. No one's getting open. There's clearly the offensive tackles aren't holding up. Like, it was a bad situation for him. And I know this sounds like a lot of excuse making. So I promise there will be some negative Mahomes stuff here at the end. But if your overall takeaway from this game was Mahomes was any part of the problem and not the only thing that somehow made this game a 1-score game that they had a chance to win, you're crazy. He was doing almost nothing bad. The only bad thing he did was the final interception, because there was no reason to throw that ball to Xavier Worthy in that moment. That arm punt.
It was an arm punt. It was an arm punt.
Why are you arm punting?
Because it's third down.
Pick up 5 yards and you're not going. Wait, you don't think they're going for a fourth down if they just pick up a couple yards? Ooh, hard disagree.
I don't think so.
But
I don't think so. I don't even know if they had 5 yards.
Even still, if it's an arm punt, I watched that day. It's one of the few plays we have a replay of. There's nothing holding Maxwell Harrison underneath that route. He's throwing into double coverage 100%. There's nothing that's going to stop the deep safety on that side of the field and Harrison from being there. Like, that's a terrible arm. If you want to throw an arm punt, throw it to Thornton crossing the field. You had the corner occupied. It was going to be single coverage to Thornton. That was a terrible decision. So if you want some heat from Mahomes and not trying to take it all off of him, that was a terrible play. And I think that cost them more than we're going to talk about, because I think they were going to go for it on fourth down. But outside that, I don't know. I thought Mahomes played absolutely fine. He made some plays no other quarterbacks are going to make. Yeah, I thought he got a little antsy in the pocket, but I don't think it was his fault. He was getting hit like hell. The pass protection was terrible. He was antsy in the pocket because if he wasn't, he was probably going to get hit, and nobody was open. Like, the very few times we saw stuff, nobody was able to get open. So I don't know. If somebody's got, like I said, an issue with Mahomes' play, you just kind of got to skip over it, because I don't know what they could have seen to say that he was missing open players or throws to open players based on that game.
Well, and think about that 3rd and 16, I think it was, where he that might have been his best throw of the season, drifting back and throwing up and down ball to Kelsey in between 3 defenders. Like, okay, yeah, I don't think he was bad. The Bills pressured. This is from Next Gen Stats. The Bills pressured Patrick Mahomes on 52.6% of his drop backs. That is
the chat's gonna blame Mahomes.
That is 14.3% higher than their pressure rate in any of their other 9 matchups against the Chiefs since 2020. Mahomes completed just 3 of 16 passes for 61 yards in that interception when he was pressured today. Rough day. Final thoughts before we get out of here, Tucker.
Really, what this game came down to on the defense, really, I think in general, is that the Chiefs had to stop the running game of James Cook. They had to stop the Bills' most dominant offensive player, and they didn't. 27 carries, 114 yards, no touchdowns for him because Josh Allen hawked all of them. But Josh Allen also played really good. 3 incompletions on the day at all for Josh Allen. So, look, again, this goes back to the point that I was making from the jump. It's like, I think that the Buffalo Bills probably played their best football game they've played all year. And it came against the Chiefs. I understand. That's their Super Bowl. They got to get up for it. They got to play their best game all year. They knew it was going to be at Highmark Stadium. Final year of the stadium. They had to get up for it. I get it. I got to understand. Like, they got to play their best game of the year. They knew they were going to have to play their best game of the year. The Chiefs just didn't play their best game of the year. And that's okay. You don't always get to play your best game, but I thought the Bills did play well. I got to give a hat tip to those guys. I mean, that's the best game they've played all year. It's not close.
Maddie?
If you think Mahomes was the problem, you watch the game with your eyes closed. That's all I got.
It's Groundhog's Day again. Bills winning the regular season. We'll see y'all in January.
Yep.
We'll see what this team's made of. That's going to do it for this episode of the KCSN Postgame Show. Thank you all so much for listening, watching, supporting. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll catch you later.
That was also an embarrassing performance by the Chiefs, though. That'd be way better.